Let me call to order this meeting of the West Palm Beach City Commission. It is Tuesday, January 21st, and the time is 5 p.m. We will start this meeting off as we do all of our meetings with a moment of silence. Keep in mind the victims in New Orleans, those who have lost family and property in California. A lot of stuff going on. A moment of silence, please. President Ward, can you lead us with a Pledge of Allegiance? Let me remind everyone of the rules of civility and decorum which govern this body. Officials shall be recognized by the chair and should not interrupt the speaker. Public comment shall be addressed to the City Commission as a whole and not to any individual on the dais or in the audience. Displays of anger, rudeness, ridicule, impatience, lack of respect, and personal attacks are strictly prohibited. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping the feet, whistles, yells, and similar demonstrations should not be permitted. Please govern yourselves accordingly, as offenders may be removed from the meeting. Also, any person desiring to address the commission shall file a written request with the city clerk by completing a comment card, and the comment card shall contain the agenda item the person wishes to address, the person's full name, address, and the numbered agenda item, and please govern yourselves accordingly, as a person will not be recognized if the comment card is not completed correctly. Madam City Administrator, are there any additions, deletions, reorganization of the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor, but I would like to note that we have 3 items that we are requesting continuance. 2 of the items are under item 9.1, a zoning map amendment and a text amendment, respectively, related to the Broadway mixed-use district. And then item 9.4, which relates to the West Palm Commerce Park at Haverhill, south of 45th Street.
Fantastic. We will make the appropriate motions when we get to those items on the agenda. We're going to start off the agenda with a presentation on what I think was just a tremendously successful event and really presented the city in a very positive light to a very influential audience. And I'm speaking about a weekend where the board of directors of the African American Mayors Association chose the city in which to hold their winter meeting. What's unique about this is that I am not on the board, and they reached out to me several weeks in advance of the weekend and specifically requested us to host them based upon some good things they'd heard about our city. What was also unique is that once they saw the agenda that we had in mind, they actually opened up the meeting to not just the board, but they sent out a communication to the entire membership advising them of the weekend. So it was a fantastically successful weekend. We had 4 sponsors who were very generous with their treasure to assist us in putting together a top-of-class presentation. A little bit of follow-up. As I mentioned, I was not on the board at the time. I just returned from the winter meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors just this last week. prior to that meeting, I was asked to sit on a panel at one of the plenary sessions to discuss the public-private economic development efforts that we have in the city. That was due to it was a direct result of the weekend that you're about to hear more about. And I was also asked to join the board of Obama. Again, a direct result of what we think was what I know was a fantastically successful weekend. So we're going to, I think, show a videotape, but I also want to, I think we have representatives from each of the four sponsors here. We want to present them with a small token of our appreciation for assisting us to put West Palm Beach, I guess we were already on the map, but to shine a further spotlight on what is happening in our city, and we could not have done it without the assistance of the sponsors. So, Ms. Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Faye Johnson, City Administrator for the City of West Palm Beach. It is certainly my pleasure, Mayor, members of the board, of the audience, and those who are joining us by Channel 2018, to present a recap of the event that the Mayor just articulated. So the African American Mayors Association, which we commonly say AMA, is the only organization exclusively representing African American mayors within the United States. It provides them with leadership and management tools, creating a forum for the members to share best practices related to municipal management. As the Mayor mentioned, we hosted the fourth quarter Board of Trustees meeting on December 6th and 7th of 2024. The mayors and their guests engaged in discussions regarding leadership, collaboration, and how to build safer and more unified communities across the nation. The participants also toured projects within our community redevelopment area, including several locations in the historic Northwest neighborhood, which really was the focus of the tour. As was mentioned by the Mayor, we had four sponsors that stepped up to the plate upon being contacted about this event so that it did not require any city dollars or taxpayers funding to put on. And those four sponsors include Florida Power and Light, Related Ross, Frisbee Group, and Holland and Knight. So just a little bit of what happened at the event.
As board members of the African American Mayors Association arrived in West Palm Beach, Mayor Keith James was there to greet them.
Well, welcome, welcome. My name is Keith James. I have the pleasure of serving as mayor of this great city.
In addition to their board meeting, the visitors also took part in a whirlwind weekend of activities, from tours of dazzling new additions to the city skyline, like the One Flagler building.
We have put together, I think, an outstanding program.
To an outdoor fireside chat under sunny South Florida skies, featuring two prominent business leaders.
We have a Wall Street tycoon.
There was also a discussion of redevelopment led by City Administrator Faye Johnson and CRA Executive Director Chris Ruge.
Mayor, I cut out that sound at your request.
I've never heard you so quiet before.
To see newly redeveloped businesses like the classic Hamburger Haven and the world-renowned Sunset Lounge. Right across the street, the group took a daytime look at the music-oriented Heart and Soul Park, where the night before they'd enjoyed spectacular Christmas lights and entertainment during Winter in Paradise. And rounding out the weekend, an evening reception on the rooftop of still another upscale new high-rise, 360 Rosemary. As the sun set, they enjoyed spectacular views before heading home, where it's hoped they'll spread the word that West Palm Beach is a great place to live, work, and play. This is Cheryl Kahn reporting for WPB-TV.
That's just some still shots that were taken during the event. Those shots are from the closing reception. And I wanted to just read into the record a email that the mayor was sent, which I think encapsulate the overall response that we got across the board from those who attended. And it reads, I wanted to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the opportunity to attend the Board of Trustees weekend in West Palm Beach, Florida. It was an honor to be part of the meeting, which I found incredibly informative and insightful. The discussions and activities deepened my understanding of the organization's goals and mission, and I left feeling inspired by the impactful work being done. The entire agenda was thoughtfully curated, and the sessions on redevelopment, leadership, and entrepreneurship were particularly enlightening. The fireside chats and panel discussions provided valuable perspectives that I will carry forward in my efforts to make Mapleton, Georgia, a better city. Mayor James is to be commended for the work that he continues to do in West Palm Beach, and it was signed Mayor Micah Owens of City of Mapleton, Georgia. Mapleton, Georgia is the most recently incorporated city in Cobb County. I think they were incorporated based on research back in 2023. And it took all of the staff who were involved in putting on this event to make it a huge success. So I certainly would like to thank city staff who were involved, the panelists, Tanya Rich, Kenneth Allen, Lamont, and Paula Humbert, who sat on the panel. And then, as was mentioned, we could not have done it without our 4 sponsors. Again, Florida Power and Light, Related Ross, the Frisbee Group, Holland, and Knight. And at this point, Mayor, I would ask you to come down so you can do the presentation of the sponsorship recognition and awards.
Before we do that, if any staff is here that was a part of that weekend, could you stand, please? I know some are here. Kimberly, you were here. Okay. Jose Luis. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Another point I wanted to make is we were very careful. You all know what my vision is for the city, to make it a community of opportunity for all. And so we were careful to show kind of, I think, how we are intentional about that, beginning with the reception program at One Flagler, which is one of our newer Class A office buildings. Beautiful, beautiful building. They had the chance to take the tour. We sat outside on the lawn. They could see the pillars, that iconic sculpture, public art sculpture. But then we also took them over, as was stated before, to the historic Northwest, which is one of our historically black communities. But we were also showing them how the city is doing work to improve and uplift those communities. So they got to see both sides. I don't want to say sides because we're all a single organism, but they got to see different aspects, I guess, of our city and the work that we as a city are doing to try to improve conditions in all of our neighborhoods. So I wanted to make sure I got that point across. I'm coming down. Florida Power and Light. I think I say Don K here. We tilted this enough, I understand we got to avoid it. Very good. Okay. Thank you again. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. Frisbee Group.
Excuse me, young lady, would you come up here, please? everybody understands, I do not just give my wife a directive. She gives me directives.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thought I'd get away with that, but it didn't work.
Thank you again.
Your
Truly
Honor,
appreciate
it was an honor.
No, truly appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Thank you. Holland and Knight. Is Bill here? There he is. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And last but certainly not least, related Ross. Now, we want to do a group picture with all the...
Yes, if I can have you all to come back up so we can get a group picture, please.
Ms. Johnson, I would be remiss if I didn't say publicly, thanks so much. You kind of took the lead on organizing this, putting the program together, so I certainly want to acknowledge you publicly. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
But to reemphasize the spillover effects, I kind of glossed over it, but the panel that I spoke on was, as I said, at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, in front of about 350 people on last Saturday morning. Again, it was an opportunity to briefly share snippets of the story of West Palm Beach, but again, a direct outgrowth of this event. But I can tell you, from the comments that I heard even after I spoke, the secret is out about West Palm Beach. And so, commissioners, you all should be proud you're part of what we're doing here, but the word is out about the good work that we're doing here together. So thank you all. Okay, moving on with the agenda, move to the consent calendar, items 7.1 through 7.12. Are there any questions, comments on consent? Commissioner Peduzzi?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have to announce a conflict. Item 7.3. My wife is involved with a business entity that has a contractual relationship with two of the entities involved, so I will be recusing myself from this one and then the related 8.1.
Okay, so we will then, why don't we, we'll pull out, we'll vote on those separately. We'll pull out 7.3, and then we will do the rest of the consent. Are there any cards? Okay, so I'll need two motions, Commissioners, one on 7.3 specifically, and then another motion on the balance of the consent calendar.
Mayor, I move approval of item 7.3.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. So the record should reflect that there were 3 ayes and 1 abstention. No need another.
I move approval of all the other items on consent apart from 7.3.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
We've moved to second discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We will now turn to item 8.1, public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 5119-24, approving a third amendment to the consolidated and amended lease between the City of West Palm Beach and West Palm Beach Marina, Inc. with the Waterview Towers Condominium Association to extend the expiration date from May 10th, 2073 to May 9th, 2123, establishing rents for the extended period and creating rent credits applicable to the lease, and public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 5120-24, approving a Fifth Amendment of lease for the extended submerged marina premises. Ms. Rothenberg?
Commissioners, Mayor, this is second reading, and the precursor to that was the approval of the settlement agreement that you just passed. There have been no changes to these ordinances since first reading, and we would recommend approval.
Very good. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Peduzzi?
Just in an abundance of caution, I have a similar recusal for 8.1. My wife is involved with a business that has a contractual relationship with two of the entities involved, so I will be recusing myself.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 5119-24 and ordinance number 5120-24 on second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
It's a
Oh, I'm sorry.
ordinance, please, do a
Oh,
reading.
yes. I almost made it through. Okay. Madam Clerk, could read the ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 5119-24, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, approving a third amendment to the consolidated and amended lease between the City of West Palm Beach and the West Palm Beach Marina, Inc., now the Waterview Towers Condominium Association, Inc., to extend the expiration date to May 9th, 2123, establishing rents and credits, authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
And if the clerk would read the second ordinance. Now, you've already voted on the first one, but if you'd read the second, that would be great.
Ordinance number 5120-24, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, approving a Fifth Amendment of lease for extended submerged marina premises between the city and Leisure Resorts, LLC, to allow for a term extension under certain conditions, authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. And let the record reflect that we have one recusal for both motions. Okay. Now we'll move to item 9.1, and they have requested a continuance of this ordinance to February 18, 2025. So I will need a motion, Commissioners, for that continuance.
I move to continue consideration of ordinance number 5121-24 to the commission meeting scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. on February 18, 2025 at the City of West Palm Beach City Hall Commission Chambers, 401 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. And I move to continue consideration of ordinance number 5122-24 to the City Commission meeting scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. on February 18th, 2025 at the City of West Palm Beach City Hall Commission Chambers, 401 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Oh, man, I'm messing up today. Okay. I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you. Now, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Been moved and seconded. No. Since there's no discussion, motion carries unanimously. This is tough for me. I don't know why. All right. We'll now turn to item 9.2, public hearing and first reading of ordinance number 5123-25, a city-initiated request for a text amendment to Chapter 94, the Zoning and Land Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing, to increase the Broadway Mixed-Use District BMUD incentives from 3 to 7 floors, to provide clarification in cases where a property is requesting an upzoning, that the 50% bonus unit shall be taken from the original base zoning of the property, provide clarification of maximum floor area ratio allowed, and authorizing limited variance and waivers review for live local workforce housing developments by the City Commission.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, over here, would you like for me to swear in the witnesses and do the ex parte disclosures?
Man,
And it is
yes,
quasi-judicial.
yes, wow, okay. Yes, we do need to swear in all witnesses, but I need the commissioners to read their declarations. Thank you. Okay, we will begin with Commissioner Fox. Okay. Yes, Commissioner Warren.
Mayor, as to these matters, I have not had ex parte communications, not received written communications, not conducted an investigation, not made a site visit, and not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you very much. President Ward.
I just have a question for purposes of 9.2, given that we're the ones presenting, we've had multiple meetings. Am I disclosing that aspect of multiple meetings and things like that?
Or you could just say that you've,
You can say you had meetings with staff.
Okay. As to item 9.2, I've had multiple meetings with staff and community members, and I have received written communications. I have conducted investigation. I've made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. As to item 9.3 and 9.5, yes, we don't have to do number 9.4, right? Because it's being moved, continued?
Correct.
Okay. Yes, to 9.3 and 9.5, I have not had ex parte communications, have not received written communications, have not conducted an investigation, have not made a site visit, have not received expert opinions. I request these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Commissioner Peduzzi.
Thank you, Mayor. As to item 9.2, I have had ex parte communication with city staff. I have received written communication from city staff. I've not conducted an investigation, I've not made a site visit, nor have I received any expert opinions. As to items 9.3 and 9.5, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, nor have I received any expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made a part of the record.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox.
As to item 9.2, I have had ex parte communications and meetings with staff. I have received written communications from staff. I've not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. As to items 9.3 and 9.5, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, can you swear in all witnesses, please?
Would everyone wishing to speak on items 9.2, 9.3, and 9.5 please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Now, Ms. Van.
Angela Van, Planning and Zoning Administrator. As the mayor already stated, that it's a city-initiated request to do some amendments to our affordable workforce housing section of the land zoning and land development regulations. First section is the Live Local section, which the state changed the Florida statute in 2024, creating our Live Local Act. Live Local Act allows developers to build affordable workforce housing projects that meet certain criteria to go through administrative process when the project complies with all of our zoning and land development regulations. However, what staff is finding is most of the projects cannot meet all of our city's regulations because most of our projects are infill. The Live Local Act provides for administrative approval of projects that meet the statutory requirements and all the city's zoning requirements, but does not prohibit the city from creating a process allowing for waivers and variances. This ordinance establishes a review process which gives the City Commission the ability to hear limited variances and waivers from setbacks, from landscaping and parking requirements for Live Local workforce housing developments. It also includes a provision that allows an allowance that projects that are seeking any waivers or variances may not exceed applicable density and/or floor height incentive by more than 15%. And this is supported in our, particularly in our B-MUD and our in-MUD districts where you have floors and/or height, and you have, so staff wanted to give a little allowance for 15% to allow them to exceed it by. The Center for Broadway, the city is amending the current Broadway regulations. The text amendment will bring the incentives into the height in line with proposed regulations. The current regulations have a maximum height of 3 stories. What the proposed regulations and this change is would allow it to increase it to 7 stories. And staff needs to make a correction on the ordinance block. It needs to be from 3 to 7. I think it states 3 to 5. We're also doing clarifications to the affordable housing requirements to clarify that any mixed-use project in the city can go up to the highest FAR permitted in the zoning land development regulation 1.5. That was the intention all along, but it was actually not, it was left out. So I just wanted to codify it so it's clear in the regulations. And lastly, currently 50% of the increase in density is required for workforce affordable housing. The ordinance proposing that the requirement for the projects that upzone, we have projects now that come into the city under multifamily 14, which is 14 units per acre. Most of them want to upzone to multifamily 32, which is 32 units per acre. We're saying that we take it from the base zoning, 50% of the original base zoning. Basically, to give you a quick overview, we have a 14, MF14. The current regulations for affordable workforce housing goes from 14 to 28. So that's 7 workforce affordable housing units required. What we're seeing, most developers want to come in at MF32, which goes to 32 to 64, but 16 workforce units available. What staff wants to do is take it from the actual base. So if you have an MF14, we're saying from 14 to 64, that would where you would do your 50%, so staff would get 25, this is on a one acre lot, 25 additional workforce housing units. You're talking 9 units of workforce housing, that's addition to what the code requires today, and developer still gets 32 more units for development. We are working with HCD on this to make sure it's equitable to all developers, so when we come back for second reading, we may have to change it a little, but we're still working to make sure that it's fair for all the developers. Staff finding it complies with all of our requirements of the zoning and land development regulations. Planning board heard this case at their December 17th meeting, and they voted approval by 6-1. And staff recommends approval of ordinance number 512325. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for that presentation. President Ward.
Thank you. So just so I understand, I know that we haven't voted on 9.1 yet, and that's going to come back, but is this going to be, are there any conflicts between what's being proposed to the changes in BMUD and what's being approved here? Okay, so that 7 stories is still the same height?
Height,
a
7,
foot,
yes, correct.
feet? Okay.
Correct.
All right. And as far as when it comes into anybody applying for a project in the meantime between now and February, just given the community knows so much about what's going to be proposed, are we expecting any applications before the next meeting that we're going to be discussing the BMUD changes?
No, we already have one in, that's the 2900 project, but they're using the live local requirements.
Okay.
But we don't expect any to come in between now and BMUD, no.
Follow up. I thought we were conforming and trying to mitigate live local, so maybe I'll just ask that question another time in your response. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Do you want to finish that line of inquiry?
I mean, you were saying that another project's coming in at Live Local, but I thought we were doing this to provide a way to meet the Live Local standards while also meeting our standards.
Yes, correct. I was saying that 2900 is already in.
Okay.
So basically, just writing to help them meet the requirements. We have no other projects that are in at this time, whether for BMUD or for Live Local.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Do you have any cards? All right. If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 5123-25, amending Chapter 94 Zoning and Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing. This motion is based upon the factual testimony presented, the staff report, the recommendation of the planning board, and the findings that the proposed amendment complies with all the amendment standards found in Section 94-32 of the city's zoning and land development regulations.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 5123-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida at Chapter 94, Zoning and Land Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing, Section 94-551, Live Local Workforce Housing Development to provide for commission review of variance or waivers requests, Section 94-552, Affordable and Workforce Housing Overlay, AWHO Development, Table 17-1, to increase B-MUD incentives from 3 additional floors to 7 additional floors, and authorizing limited variance and waiver review for Live Local Workforce Housing Developments, to provide clarification for the bonus units in cases of up-zonings, and provide clarification of the maximum floor area ratio allowed, declaring these amendments to be consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city, providing a conflicts clause, a codification clause, and a severability clause, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 9.3, public hearing of resolution number 229-24, approving the replat of approximately 2.38 acres, 103,758 square feet of real property generally located at 180 Lakeview Avenue and 809 South Flagler Drive, as is associated with the One Flagler office and First Church of Christ Scientist developments.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the board, for the record, Roger Ramdeen here on behalf of the applicant, here for the replat of the One Flagler project. As you know, the site is located between Lakeview and Okeechobee Boulevard and adjacent to Flagler Drive to the east. And again, the request is just to replat this project from 3 lots into 2. The project was originally approved October 27th, 2021 for a 25-story Class A office building. And as a condition of the site plan approval, we are required to replat the site into the 2 parcels prior to the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy. So that's what's before you tonight. As stated before, this is a replat from 3 tracts to 2. 1 tract will be for the One Flagler project, and the second tract will be for the church. The code does have general standards for compliance with replats. It's section 94-342. Staff has concluded that we comply and we agree. And with that, we do respectfully request your approval of this replat, and staff also recommends approval of the replat. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff? Anyone from the applicant here?
That was the applicant. Staff will do their presentation. I'm sorry.
You guys are confusing me.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Chris Kimberly, Senior Urban Designer. Staff does concur with the applicant's presentation and what they presented. We do recommend approval of Resolution 229-24, as the request does comply with the provisions of Chapter 177 of Florida statutes, the standards within Section 94-342 and 94-44, as well as the comprehensive plan, if there are any questions.
Very good. Any questions of staff? All right. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 229-24, creating the plat entitled One Flagler. This motion is based upon the application submitted, the staff report, factual testimony, and the findings that the request complies with all applicable provisions of Chapter 177, Florida statutes, the comprehensive plan, and the standards in Section 94-342 of the city's zoning and land development regulations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9.4 is to be continued, so I will need a motion to that effect, please.
I move to continue reconsideration of resolution number 270-24 to the commission meeting scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. on February 18th, 2025 at the City of West Palm Beach City Hall Commission Chambers, 401 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 9.5, public hearing of resolution number 284-24, a request by Docks and More Construction Company on behalf of Joe Marks for a Class A special use permit with a waiver for a dock and boat lift to have a length greater than 100 feet located at the subject property 8002 Flagler Court.
Alexis Singlier, planner for the record. The applicant is not present right now.
They aren't? They knew about the meeting, I think.
Correct,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Should we request a continuance? And I could,
Did they request a continuance?
they did not.
Well, they may have to get a continuance, because, all right, we will go on then. If they get her before we adjourn, then I suppose we could bounce back here. All right, so we'll now move to item 10, comments from the public. We have cards? Okay. We have a few cards here. Louise Barnett, Jerica Mitchell, and Ash Kamal, not sure. Louise Barnett. Approach the podium, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Get to the mic. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners. My name is Louise Barnett. I'm asking for a green burial at Woodlawn Municipal Cemetery. Green burial is a natural, ecologically friendly way to bury a body that minimizes environmental impact. One may be buried in a completely biodegradable container, a wicker basket, or even wrapped in a shroud. What it does not include is a vault, a liner, a casket, or embalming fluid. Currently in the U.S., there are 100 dedicated green cemeteries and 300 hybrid cemeteries that allow for traditional and green burials side by side. There are also 51 hybrid municipal cemeteries in the U.S. I think Woodlawn would work best as a hybrid cemetery, utilizing peripheral area or areas where tree roots or uneven ground would prevent a vault from sitting properly. The opening and closing fees and the cost of the plot would remain the same. The impact of current practices are 4.3 million gallons of embalming fluid, 20 million board feet of hardwoods, 1.6 million tons of concrete are buried in the earth in the U.S. each year. Cremation releases 700 million pounds of carbon dioxide into the air each year. West Palm Beach is a progressive city. You have progressive programs to reduce carbon monoxide and greenhouse gas output. So I feel that a green burial would be in keeping with the progressive nature of our city. We were one of the first cities to have a Office of Sustainability, which shows how we look to the future for what we are wanting. A green burial is environmentally sound practice. It's ecologically sustainable. I have lived here all my life. I have 4 children who live here. I have 5 grandchildren who live here. I would like to be buried in the Woodlawn Municipal Cemetery, but I would like a green burial. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerica Mitchell.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Jerica Mitchell, and I'm here to formally request that the topic of water fluoridation be added to the agenda for the next council meeting, February 3rd. There is growing evidence that fluoride in our public water supply poses significant health risks, including potential effects on cognitive development, thyroid function, and overall well-being. While the intention of water fluoridation was to improve dental health, modern research calls it a safety and effectiveness into question. Adding fluoride to public water treats an entire population without their consent. This violates ethical principles of individual autonomy and informed choice. Unlike medications prescribed by a doctor, water fluoridation does not allow for personalized dosing or opt-outs, leaving our residents with no control over the amount of fluoride they consume. I believe this is a critical issue that deserves thoughtful discussion and careful consideration to determine whether continuing this practice aligns with the health and best interests of our community. I respectfully ask that this topic be added to the February 3rd agenda, and I'm prepared to provide additional information or materials to support this request. Thank you for your time and your attention to this matter.
Thank you very much. Ash Kumbal? I apologize if I mispronounced your name.
Good evening, respected mayor and members. My name is Ash Kumar, and I own few properties in Palm Beach County. And I just wanted to recognize one code enforcement in West Palm Beach area. He made not my life easy, but he has changed the value of the property and the street and all the stuff. He has totally turned around. So I just wanted to recognize him.
What's his name?
His name is Robert Watkins.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, so helpful. He will be keep giving the tickets. Violation, violation, violation. But then he's always there to help in resolving the problem.
Robert Watkins, okay.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you. Any other cards? All right, is the applicant here yet?
No, Mr. Mayor. The applicant did email me their PowerPoint Friday, so they were aware. Since there's no objection that we received, staff would recommend continuing this to next city commission meeting.
All right, so you want to continue to the February 3rd?
Correct.
Okay, could I have a motion to that effect?
Sorry, I move to continue item 9.5 to the February, is that the right one? The February
3rd, I think.
3rd? 3rd commission meeting at 5 p.m., City Hall, West Palm Beach, 401 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401.
Is it moved? Is there a second?
Second.
We move to second. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you. Now we'll turn to comments from the dais, and we'll begin with you, President Ward.
Thank you. I just have one comment to make, and I hope everyone enjoyed their Martin Luther King Day and maybe provided some service or just communed. But I thought it was interesting. I know we don't necessarily, we talk about history and think it's so far away, but he would have been 96 this January. There's people that participate in our community that are still 96 and older. And I was just kind of reflecting on what life would be like if he was still around, but that history is not so far removed from where we are now, and I wanted to reflect on that, and that's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Peduzzi?
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, for the lady that came up and spoke about fluoride in our water, it may be something that the city could look into as to the continued efficacy of fortifying our water with fluoride. I understand that there was definitely a purpose, and I think it certainly addressed some of the issues with dental health, especially in our children. But there's also, since that time, there have been studies that show that it could have detrimental health effects as well. And maybe we just take a look at it and decide whether we need the same dosage and whether, I don't know if the dosage has changed over the years, but just maybe taking a look at that would not be a bad idea. Otherwise, IBIS Charities Food Drive, to my colleagues, is Sunday, January 26th, this Sunday, from 1 to 4 p.m. I know that in the past, my colleagues have always come and helped fill the boxes and fill the 18-wheelers with tens of thousands of pounds of food that go to help our needy families here in Palm Beach County, and I hope to see you all there this year as well.
What time?
It's Sunday, this Sunday, January 26th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Thank you. Commissioner Warren?
Thank you, Mayor. Just like to say, don't forget the city is updating its bike master plan to enforce bike infrastructure and the safety in the city. There will be a neighborhood meeting, neighborhood meetings and opportunities to share your thoughts and provide input on Thursday, January 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Center for Creative Education in District 2, located at 2400 Metro Center Boulevard in West Palm Beach. For more information, please visit the city's website. I'd also like to say that I'm paying particular attention to all of the recent tragedies that are impacting our nation. And in times like this, our strength as a nation is tested. And it's how we respond to these challenges that really define us. And our ability to come together defines us. I want to say that we are resilient people, and I believe that together there's so much that we can do. And particularly the town of Palm Beach United Way has an initiative underway to support the communities of those that have been impacted by the fires. And when I say the communities, I'm including people that have provided services and support in the areas that are impacted. It's the homes as well as the people that are employed that really do need our grace and our prayers. And there's a great opportunity to support, again, by supporting and contacting the town of Palm Beach United Way. And again, I'd just like to say that I do believe that we are resilient and that there's a lot that we can do together as a nation. And I look forward to us coming together and showing that.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Mayor. I had the opportunity to attend the first Bike Master Plan community meeting last week, and it is a great interactive experience for everyone in our city. I think sometimes we just think about biking downtown, but there's really a lot of opportunities for different projects around the whole city. So I hope that people will take advantage of the next 3 meetings. All the info is on our website, as Commissioner Warren mentioned. From January 29th to February 13th, there will be 3 additional meetings, and I just encourage everyone to attend. I've been getting a lot of calls from some of the downtown residents that live surrounding the 500 block of Clematis Street. There's a lot of noise issues, and I know I've seen some of the residents CCing my colleagues, so I just wanted to mention to you all that I've been working closely with Lieutenant Colombino and the DDA to identify some solutions. And so one of the things that they're doing now is researching whether or not we should have an ordinance modification for time restrictions and the reduction of decibels. And so they're looking at other municipalities from here to Miami, and I think that they will be coming back with some recommendations. They'll also be having community meetings with the condos surrounding the 500 block. So just wanted to mention, in case any of you are hearing from additional residents, please feel free to send them my way so I can share the information with them. And a very important update, I'm sure you all were wondering since the last meeting, what happened with the Guinness Book of World Records? Well, sorry, Mayor, if you were going to also announce this, but the great news is that the Cox Science Center and Aquarium is now in the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest gathering of dinosaurs in the world, with 468 dinosaurs attending, beating the previous record of 250 dinosaurs. And that's all I have. Thanks.
That's all you have? You're going to end on that note? And then on a high. Okay, that's wonderful. Did any of you all participate?
I wanted to, but my costume wouldn't have counted, so I didn't participate.
Oh.
Apparently that was only like full body versus you can't be riding one, so I couldn't.
That's fine.
Okay. Thought you wanted more explanation.
TMI,
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, a couple of things. I mentioned previously my opportunity to sit on a panel with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I didn't really talk a lot about the topic, but we discussed the critical role mayors play in urban development and how the synergy between public and private sectors contributes to community vitality. It was a great opportunity to highlight the amazing city that we have here. I'm sure all of you have heard about our ranking by TripAdvisor. Our city was ranked as the #1 trending destination in the U.S. in TripAdvisor's prestigious 2025 Traveler's Choice Awards Best of the Best Destinations. Out of TripAdvisor's 8 million listings, fewer than 1% achieved this milestone. Wow, that means our city receives an overwhelming amount of praise and reviews from the TripAdvisor community throughout the year. So congratulations to West Palm Beach, and it only confirms that our city is indeed a special destination for travel and leisure, and I'm so happy that we have received this national recognition. Just a reminder, next week, on Thursday, January 30th, I will be delivering the State of the City address at the Palm Beach County Convention Center during the Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach's monthly breakfast series. Seats are limited, so make sure you get your tickets soon. Visit the events calendar at palmbeaches.org to register. The program is scheduled to begin at 7:30 a.m. and will also be live streamed on the city's YouTube page, West Palm Beach TV, and Facebook. Early this month, the Green Market extended its hours from 8:30 to 1:30 on Saturdays and extended the season until April 26. There are also additional road closures put in place. In addition to the 100 to 400 blocks of Clematis, Olive, Dixie, and Flagler will now be closed between Banyan and Atour from 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. Additional security measures that were taken. On Sunday, February 2nd, at the Grassy Waters Preserve Nature Center, the city's Office of Sustainability is giving away free rain barrels to city residents. If you're interested in picking up a rain barrel to save water and help the environment, please register by Friday, January 31st at wpb.org/savewater. That's wpb.org/savewater. And the 2018 Bike Master Plan has officially been updated, and residents are encouraged to provide feedback during scheduled neighborhood meetings. These important updates were made to enhance bike infrastructure and safety in our city. There will be 3 upcoming meetings that you can attend, including next week on Wednesday, January 29th at Fire Station 7, located 8007 Okeechobee. And let me just make a point on those community meetings. I would ask that citizens be respectful of staff. I have heard that there have been staffs have been called out of their name at these meetings, and I am taking measures to ensure that if that happens again, the meeting is just going to be terminated. Staff should not be disrespected in such a way. They are professionals and they should be treated such. And if the community, certain members of the community do not choose to respect the professionalism of staff that's there, then perhaps that meeting is not one that should be held in that community. So I would just ask from this dais that staff be respectful of, not staff, that the community be respectful of staff. Thank you. The City of West Palm Beach invites you to join Master Communicator Corey Sabin of CS Media Works for a free 4-part workshop series next month that will take your communication to the next level. You can register for the Power of Public Speaking at bit.ly/powerspeaking. bit.ly/powerspeaking. This is put on by our Office of Small Business and Women-Owned Businesses to help entrepreneurs and small business owners to help with public speaking. So that's all I have. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. God bless the great city of West Palm Beach. And good night, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.